episode of Dirty Laundry TV. I'm your host, Carrie Kay, and today we have Warren of the Abigails.
Howdy.
How did you start get into music?
Well, I guess in high school, I guess in junior high, I got into punk music.
Who were your punk guys in junior high?
Kind of all across the board, your typical stuff like Black Flag, Misfits, then Subhumans, Crass, even Minor Threat, Dead Kennedys, like that sort of stuff. That's a little bit all over the place, but that's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was like super into that. It was like, this punk kid wearing a dog collar and, this is like 94, 5, something like that.
Yeah. That's about what I was doing in 94, 95.
Yeah, so with that said, I didn't, Nirvana is so popular now, but in the 90s, if you were like into punk, you weren't into a mainstream grunge band.
Right.
So to me that was lame. Then in high school, I got into like different music, like, so this is still like 95. I got into like Modest Mouse, the Makeup, lots of bands on like K Records, Sub Pop, little like Kill Rock Stars, 5RC, stuff like that.
Right. And they were your influences to start getting into playing music?
I think so. I've never really felt like a huge influence from anyone musically. I have like a little bit, but that was more like I knew what I liked, and I don't know if I fully tried to like mimic anything.
Right.
But I guess potentially like subconsciously it does have an effect on your music. I think I was about 17 and I started the band that I used to do, the Grand Elegance. And it was, more punky, not in the, not as, it wasn't punk as in, it wasn't punk like the stuff I liked in junior high. It was, punk in this new sort of fashion that was going on. There was like a lot of popular bands that were more noisy in San Diego at that time. Like a band called the Crimson Curse comes to mind. That was Justin Pearson's band from The Locust. The Makeup was totally different and new to me. Like that was a different sound that I hadn't heard before. I'm 16 or 17, so stuff like that was exciting to me.
Less raw. There's a lot more going on than just power fifth chords and raw.
Exactly. Yeah. It was more weird, taking rock and roll and just putting a little tweak on it.
What was high school Warren like?
I went to like one of those alternative like bad kid schools.
Oh, perfect.
So it was a lot of people like that were in and out of juvenile hall. It was like bad kid school.
What did you do that was so bad?
I just wasn't really interested. I was kind of bored with high school, so I saw this other high school where it was like you'd go from like 10 to noon, just a couple hours a day for I think like 4 days a week. So that was, I was into that.
I didn't know if I had known about that in high school.
I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I just went a different route that, kind of suited me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tell us about getting dragged off to Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. They have a saying there, and they say, "Come on vacation, leave on probation, return on violation."
I had not heard that before.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about, but my first experience with Idaho was when I was in the bad kid school.
Okay.
So I wasn't like the worst kid. But I think my parents were a little freaked out. I was going to a lot of shows and kind of just disregarded any like rules that there were at home.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was over at a friend's house. I was actually hanging with Brooks from the Growler's sister. And so I'm over at their house, and this is, 1998 or 7, something like that. And so anyways, my dad, I called my dad, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, just be home by midnight tonight." And this is like a Wednesday or something.
Sure.
And usually he wasn't that casual. Usually that was something I would just do, but it wasn't really spoken about. Uh-huh. So anyways, I go home, go to sleep, and this is obviously before cell phones and everything.
Right.
The phone rings at like 3 a.m, and I pick it up because I figured it was, either a prank call or whatever. Someone calling for me. No one's going to call for my parents at 3. And anyways, whoever was on the other line hung up. So I put the phone off the hook, so in case they call again, it wouldn't, wake up my parents.
Up.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, a little while later, maybe an hour later or something, like 2 of the biggest guys I've ever seen in my life are in my room. And I'm like thinking what the fuck did I do wrong?
You're describing my nightmare.
Yeah. So
wow.
I'm like fully freaked out, and I think that I've done something that's getting my family in trouble.
Oh, shit.
But anyways, these were guys that were taking me to a bad kid camp. So they were hired by my parents, and then they take custody of you. And so they're like, "Hey, just go along with what we say, and everything will be cool. Just, if you don't listen to us, the time that you're gone will ultimately be extended."
So what did you have to do?
So we flew to Idaho. And so
From Orange County.
Yeah. I didn't know where we were going. I just got on the plane with these 2 guys. I sat in the middle, and anyways, we go to Idaho, and I ended up spending like 3 weeks in the middle. Idaho has a desert.
Yeah.
And so I spent 3 weeks in the middle of nowhere in Idaho. So that was my first Idaho experience. So I was already pretty over Idaho. Yeah. And then my next trip to Idaho, so we'll fast forward to 2010. And I was playing in the Growlers at the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we had this 35-foot long school bus that we had. We gutted it. We cut out all the seats, and we built bunk beds and like a little kitchenette and a diner table that turned into a bed.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
Yeah, it was pretty sexy. And so anyways, that was our means of transportation for touring, which we had just started doing that year, 2010. So anyways, we were doing this short little West Coast into Idaho, down to Utah, little tour, and the bus broke down. So I don't know, somehow, maybe it broke down a different tour, but anyways, we did this one in 2 trucks. So we each had, just regular trucks, 3 people a truck, and we were having what we called truck wars. And so we'd see which truck could have more fun each day. So after we did the show in Idaho, the other guys just kind of bailed on us and went downtown. So we were like, okay, let's go park at the place we're staying, and we'll take a taxi downtown so we don't get a DUI.
Yes.
So we're trying to be,
upstanding.
Yeah, exactly. Upstanding
So
citizens.
far, so good.
Yeah. So anyways, then I kind of started dabbling. Well, actually, one of the guys had been collecting switchblades. So we each had switchblades, and there was an illegal substance involved, and all of a sudden a cop came to our door with his gun drawn and was like, drop your weapons. And we're like, oh shit, like we have switchblades in our hands, you know? So I dropped my weapon, I dropped my party bag, and off we went to jail. So I think we stayed there for a night or two. I totally fucked myself over there because I'd been to jail before just for like a DUI or drunk in public. I knew from experience that if you said you were withdrawing from alcohol, they would give you Valium.
Oh,
so I was like, oh, that. Cool. So they asked me that. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be withdrawing. I'm a drunk, you know? Well, that just landed me in the drunk tank. And it was the weekend, so they kind of round up all the homeless people, you know, around town and throw them in the drunk tank for the weekend, you know? So I think like I must have been there for 2 nights. I think the next night I got a Valium, but it was not worth it.
That's so dangerous. They made you wait 2 nights to give you the...
Yeah, I know. What if I was freaking out?
I know.
Yeah. So anyways, you know, we did that little thing, and eventually I returned and did 2 weeks in jail. But it was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who were you in there with?
A couple friends.
Just some buddies? So you guys were just hanging out for a couple weeks?
Exactly.
And you didn't have to do anything or worry about...
We read a lot of books. We played a lot of chess. We played a lot of dice.
And the Growlers, was anyone from the Growlers in there with you?
Yeah, a couple of my friends made it in with me, yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not. But,
that's okay. We had Brooks on here, he knows.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, yeah, we got to... Brooks didn't go to jail, but me and a couple of the guys spent a couple weeks together in the slammer.
So would you say you won the truck war that...
I think we lost.
Oh, that would be losing.
Yeah, we got worked. Yeah.
How did the Abigails get started?
Well, I started playing with the Growlers in 2009, and I was just doing percussion stuff.
Right.
So I had no role in like the songwriting or anything like that. But I toured with them from like late 2009 up until 2011. And I hadn't really been doing the Grand Elegance. That was something that kind of always went on hiatus. It was kind of like, felt like we kind of, we missed our calling or something. So it was more just kind of for fun at this point.
Where can the fans find Grand Elegance songs?
Well, Burger Records is releasing our second album. We did 2 albums on cassette. The cassette manufacturer was a little backed up, so it should be out soon. It was meant to be out a few months ago, so I really think it's going to come soon. I hope. So fingers crossed. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I kind of like stopped doing that, but I felt like I still had a voice, you know? I wanted that creative outlet, and so I just gotten out of jail, and yeah, I just wanted to start something new. I didn't want my entire life to be this one band, the band I'd been doing. You know, there's always time to reinvent yourself and to do something brand new and just to go for it, you know, and that's exactly what I did, and it was exciting because the response was really good. I did a show, I recorded like an album, excuse me, and made a bunch of music videos and then did a show. So I did things kind of backwards. But you know, that's kind of how I started. I did a show, it was a really good response, and I got asked to do another, and then it just snowballed, and now, you know, I've released a couple albums, yeah, it's just, it's been exciting for me, and it still is exciting.
Good.
So I'm going to continue doing it until it's not exciting anymore, I guess.
So what's next for the Abigails?
We're going to Europe from May 18th to June 12th, so
Nice.
just about a month.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah, so that'll be my first time touring in Europe. It'll be my first time in Europe. So we're going all over the place.
Nice.
And we have some shows that I'm looking forward to. We're doing like a festival with White Fence and Ty Segall and the Muggers.
Nice.
We're doing another with like the Black Lips and our friends Tomorrow's Tulips. We're playing with Psychic TV, which is pretty insane to me.
What is the significance of the name, the Abigails?
So in Hebrew, Abigail means father's joy. And when I spent a couple nights in jail, when you go to jail on a charge, you either have to get bailed out, and when you do that, you're promising to appear in court on the date that they give you. If you don't get bailed out, then you stay in jail until that court date, which is usually a couple weeks away. So anyways, my dad had to bail me out of jail because he wasn't going to leave me sitting in Idaho. And I always liked the name Abigail, and so then I was like, oh, father's joy. How nice. My parents are supportive of everything that I do. Obviously, like when you're doing something creative and you're not like seeing money immediately,
Yeah.
I could see where certain parents would kind of think like, what are you doing? You have to have a career. This is how you live life. And I haven't really ever gone about things like that, and so I think that it comes down to acceptance. And I think sometimes parents can have an idea of how a family is meant to be, how it's meant to run, and once you give up those ideas and accept your family for what it is, then you find happiness in that regard. So I think that's definitely how my parents respond to me being creative.
So they're like in an acceptance phase. Soon to
they
be
went
a
through
pride
that.
Phase.
They went through the acceptance phase, and now they're fully supportive.
And now they're proud of
Yes.
you. Oh, that's good.
So yeah, it's cool. It's nice.
Do you have any new tattoos you want to show us? Or any important ones?
Let's see. I got my head tattooed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I have a bald spot that I really don't like, so I tattooed it. It's the Pharaoh's horses.
Nice.
Yeah. It represents overcoming oppression.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So that's that one. And I don't know. Those are kind of my new additions. A friend of mine, my old roommate plays in White Fence, and he had hit me up a while back, and I'm friends with Tim Presley, who does White Fence, and he said something along the lines of the Abigails are so good. I feel like they're totally underappreciated, but this is going to be one of those albums that in 20 years people freak out about. And if that's the case, I'll take that.
It's a very nice compliment.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
That is cool.